Hello, my name is Lord Sandwich Shark Gamer. Welcome to another Call of Duty video where today, guys, I'm gonna be doing the story of Oni. So, for those who don't know, Oni is the character who was the PlayStation exclusive back in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that you could get it better. That was only for PlayStation players. I think you can still get it in the store even if you don't have PlayStation. I think you get like all the styles. So yeah. Pretty cool. So of course he is Japanese. So it says Hiro Oni Watanabe Sori is one of forged in the same tumultuous fires as that of his ancestors' Gear family, the Shido Blades. Descended from a century-old samurai clan, Oni's family fell on hard times once the samurai were disbanded in 1871 in Japan. For those who don't know, the samurais are like very common there in Japan. So if you're Japanese, I think you know it. If you're not, then you have to look it up. Forcing him into poverty and desperation. By the time Oni was born, the Watanabe clan had all but abandoned their once great heritage and forsaken their family's name, joining the ranks of the crime syndicate, possibly the Yakuza or another Japanese mob. Who knows? Let me know your theories in the comments. As a child, Oni didn't see much of his father, Akira, an established Ojabun absolute leader, in other words, of his own crime syndicate. Again, I'm not sure if it's part of the Yakuza or not. And since his mother perished during childbirth, F in the chat, this left the majority of Oni's upbringing in the hands of his grandfather, Tatsuki. Tatsuki, for his part, wanted nothing to do with the ways of the crime syndicate. Again, Yakuza or another Japanese mob. He was a pragmatic man who believed in the old samurai code, and his forefathers were once duty bound to. Early on, Tatsuki would regularly young Oni with tales of their ancestors, legendary exploits on the battlefield. It was through these stories that Oni developed his unshakable code of honor that would seek to bring his family back to promise. By his 17th birthday, Oni's father had begun grooming him to join the ranks of the Syndicate, aka the Yakuza or another Japanese mob. Not wanting to follow his father's footsteps, Oni refused the path of before him. In other words, he didn't want to become a mob syndicate leader, leaving him in the dead of the night with nothing but the clothes on his back and on the hilt that Shido blades for protection. With nowhere else to go and in need of a fresh start, the 17-year-old Oni entered the Japanese Self-Defense Force, in other words, the Japanese Army, using a fake identity to allow him passage into the military early. Which I'm not sure why did you join the Japanese Army, so if you know, let me know in the comments. So, and how many years he's in the Japanese Army as well, let me know. But also to shield him from his father and the crime syndicate, aka possibly the Yakuza or another Japanese mob. Thanks in part of his grandfather's teaching and training, Oni quickly rose to the rank of the Japanese Self-Defense Force, eventually guarding the attention of his peers who were looking for promising soldiers to splinter off into their new elite special forces, now called the SOG. Not to be confused with the SOG from Black Ops, so it says Special Operations Group. This faction would train exclusively with the American Green, Beret, and Delta forces to provide Japan with something they hadn't had since the samurai disbanded over a century ago. Elite special forces operators capable of running their own counterparts across the globe. Oni was born a warrior, vastly exceeding the powerless of his counterparts in the program and eventually commanding his own unit. But after countless missions and commendations displaying his valiant courage, brought Oni hunger to come back to Japan and do what his ancestors had done all those years ago, protect and fighting the threats on the home front, all while trying to reestablish his family's good name. Back home, Oni was quickly welcomed by Japan's elite national counterterrorism unit, the SAT, Special Assault Team. It was that move that would directly pit him against his father, who had now climbed the ranks of the crime syndicate. Throughout the powers and influence his father, Oni was summarily discharged from his post. Oni now acts as a gun for hire, aka he's now a mercenary, and he's vowed to continue the fight against his father and anyone who crosses the samurai code no matter what, in hopes that one day he can restore the Watanabe name back to promise. So kind of like a cool story for Oni. His mother died while giving birth. His father was a mob boss, possibly the Yakuza or another Japanese mob, and his grandfather taught him and he joined the Japanese military. So let me know in the comments, do you guys like Oni's story, yes or no? And if you own him, let me know what style do you like. So yeah, well, if you guys like the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more awesome videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.